Ladies and gentlemen, I've been asked by the family to let you know that we're getting ready to start this day ceremony, but we have a little time. But to give you a little bit of the protocol, that you should shut off your cameras, recordings during the time of this ceremony. That's very important to remember. This is between the drunk, the young man, the Three Fires Society, the family, the Creator, all of you, and of course our brother here. But in the meantime, I want you to recognize a young woman who worked with Vernon for many years. As a young lady studying at the University of Illinois, she went to a basketball game with her children. She was in graduate school, trying to get an advanced degree so that she could teach her people. When she took her children to the game at University of Illinois, all of a sudden at halftime, this man came out dressed in traditional Indian regalia, and he started running around like he was crazy. And he had paint on his face. He was known as Chief Littlewhick, the mascot of the University of Illinois. And her children were so affected that they began to cry because they were taught that eagle feathers are sacred, that our chiefs and headsmen are very proud people. They're not running around like they're crazy. They don't have lipstick on their face. And so her and Vernon made contact. And from that time on, they worked on this issue. Not only there, but other places. Matter of fact, you know yourself, if Vernon was alive today, right now, tonight, as we speak, he'd be in Cleveland, protesting at the game between the Red Sox. And matter of fact, we got word from the Indian community, which includes a young lady by the name of Juanita Alfrey from United Church of Christ, many Indian people from Cleveland. They're holding a demonstration right as we speak in honor of Vernon. At this time, I'd like to introduce a young lady he worked with, who now has her doctorate, who now teaches our young Indian people, not only in the area of art and art sciences and arts and crafts and the art field, but she teaches them about her experience with our brother Vernon, Wabana Nini. Her name is Charlene Teters. Please come up, Charlene.
Makes my heart feel happy to see all of you today and to hear that story, because I know he would want that to be going on at Cleveland. I just lost my mother this past year in February, and I spent the last year with her. She had a very aggressive cancer, and it was a real honor to spend that time with her. And every day she had a greeting. It was Stamas Bu'us, what's in your heart? Stamas Bu'us was one of those culturally based teachings that are alive in our language every day when we greet each other. Stamas Bu'us, causes you to look within yourself, to see how you were that day. How did you treat people? And how were you treated? Stemas ba'us, what's in your heart? And I bring that because today my heart is full. All of our hearts are full. And, but it feels good to look across here and see all of you. Vernon was one of my mentors. I met him the first time, it was like 1974, I was trying to remember. And the movement was in Spokane in support of a Colville woman who was being railroaded, basically, Yvonne Wanrow. And so that was, I'm thinking it's 1974. And back then I was so shy. I used to have a hard time speaking, even in class, because I was at college at that time. And I used to hyperventilate if there was more than 10 people in the room, really badly. So I'd be really hyperventilating now. And somehow I got the job of introducing Vernon, who was one of our speakers that day at Fort Wright College in Spokane. And I was so shy that I think all I said was, here's Vernon Bellecourt. And I remember Vernon coming up, thank you. I think that's the shortest introduction I've ever had. But he had that kind of way of sort of teasing you. But you know, he was responsible for lifting me up to leadership. Because yes, I did stand up, but I was under attack by the community and by the press. And I was getting ready to leave town because it got so hostile in that town. But I started to get phone calls that were in support of what I was doing there. And one of those was Vernon. And it was in the midst of all of these hate calls that I was getting at the time. And they all start the same. Is this Charlene Teters? And I say yes, and then the hate follows. And so Vernon called in the middle of those hate calls. And you know his voice. He kind of has this rough and gruff voice, and I thought it was a hate call. And then he said, I've heard about you. Someone in the community had put together all of the hateful media clippings and sent it to him. And he says, I've been looking at this. I've been hearing about your stand there. And he says, I want you to know that people like you are what the American Indian movement is all about.